As you guys can see, I have with me the anime academic. Say hi to the people.
Hello, Anime Academic here, your home for all anime and animation reviews and all that good stuff. How's it going, everybody?
And we have with us the demigod, the Sean. How are you doing, my friend?
Yo, 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 demigod Sean here. Catch me on the YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, wherever you find it most comfortable. You know what I'm saying? We can vibe out on some games.
All that good stuff.
And y'all know me, I'm the captain man. Today for the Captain's Lounge, I've been waiting a while to discuss some new DC stuff. I didn't think I would have anything worthy of speaking about up until Superman Legacy or whatever the official title for that Superman movie comes out. But I was happily disappointed.
It's just Superman. We have confirmed that this is the first just Superman movie.
All right, it's just Superman.
I'll take it.
No, nothing extra. Just Superman.
Say less. But besides
What was
that,
the name of the Kevin Spacey one?
I don't.
Superman Begins? No.
No, Superman
Returns.
That's it. Superman Returns.
Superman Returns.
And he never came back after that.
Eesh. Yeah, y'all. We're talking about Creature Commandos. Damn, I tried to have a whole dramatic intro. Train of thought's gone. These things fucked me up. We're here to talk about Creature Commandos. I've been looking forward to this show for a while now. I have had a lot of hope in James Gunn's DCEU because I've loved everything he said about it and what he plans to do for it and everything that they've been doing thus far. I'll say this, everything that's not his involvement. So the Batman. Because I think he wasn't involved in production on that, or did that come up?
No, that would already come out before he was moving in. And the Penguin also did not have a ton of his involvement. He was just there to make sure everything was like good for it.
Right. So the Suicide Squad then is the one that he had direct involvement in.
The Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, and
now Creature Commandos.
Harley Quinn.
Oh, he did work on that show, didn't he?
Yep. He's also one of the main characters in it now.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I gotta catch up. I've been watching the newest season. I have to catch up on that show. I've been watching the Kite Man show and been enjoying that. I'm not gonna lie, it's been kind of fun.
I will admit, Kite Man, hell yeah. Check the box.
Really need to catch up.
Check.
I really need to catch up on Kite Man.
It's been
It's
solid.
fun. Like no, you can't hate Harley Quinn because no matter what, you know you're gonna get jokes. You know you're just gonna have a fun animated adventure. I'm not mad at it at all.
Right.
But besides that, we're just about Creature Commandos today. Today, this show is one I was really interested in because we know James Gunn. Besides anything else, he will do ragtag groups of C-list characters very, very well. So when this got announced, and I think the Authority got announced, I'm like, okay, these are his thing. This is his type of jam. Especially when I found out he was writing for the show in particular, I kind of figured this would be at bare minimum okay. And I was happy to find out the show was pretty good to me. It's only been 2 episodes so far, so I can't say that it's been spectacular. I don't think it had that good of a first 2 episodes, but from what I saw, I think the comparison I made to it when I talked to Aiden about it, I compared it like Archer, and very similarly to the animation and some of the comedy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying it from that aspect. The violence is there too. It's been dope, man. But how have y'all felt about it? Before we get into like specific episodes, it's in a general oversight. How did you feel about it?
I personally have been having fun with it. It's new for me because I don't necessarily know a lot about Creature Commandos. Mm-hmm. This is uncharted territory in my DC exploration, but at the same time, I'm seeing familiar faces. There's a meme going around, and I finally saw it where Shaggy is around.
Oh yeah.
Like that makes Scooby-Doo and the gang canon to the DC universe. Like
now you know they were included, right?
You say what?
You know why they were included in that, right?
Why?
Because James Gunn wrote the live-action Scooby-Doo movie.
Which one? It's about the Skull Island one?
Yeah. No,
Oh, wow.
The one
I did
with
not know he wrote that.
Matthew Illard and all them. He loved Scooby-Doo, and that was the last appearance of Scrappy-Doo in any Scooby-Doo property. He was determined to make sure he never showed up again. But yeah, no, he loves Scooby-Doo. And I mean, Scooby-Doo has canonically been in DC since they're both owned by Marvel, or I'm sorry, Time Warner. Yeah. But he loves throwing them in things.
That's dope. That's dope to see Shaggy's, you know what I mean, damn near high as shit.
Because I didn't catch that until I saw the clips for after the fact, and I was like, oh yeah, he was right there. That's crazy.
Yeah, he was. He was.
But one thing I want to really get on really quickly before we get into it in depth is where this show is placed within the universe. Because it's been very apparent in the first episode that this is canonically in the same universe that the Suicide Squad was also in. This show taking place, I think, 2 years after the events of the Suicide Squad.
It also takes place 6 months after the first season of Peacemaker, because it mentions Waller's daughter talking about the Suicide Squad project.
Oh, hell yeah. And even then, we were to actors. So we know from that movie that Rick Flag had died. I was not aware that this Rick Flag was supposed to be his father, because this is Rick Flag Sr. I thought, we were just gonna retcon the movie and maybe just throw Rick Flag in here again. I'm like, oh, this is interesting.
The only thing that I know that is retcon at this point in time is the season finale of season 1 of Peacemaker, because according to
really only that one scene at the end.
Yeah, it's literally that Justice League scene where we didn't see anybody's faces except for Aquaman and Flash. That has been retcon because according to James, the Justice League hasn't been established yet.
That's going to be interesting. Because especially in this in one of the episodes, we saw a flash of the future of them being all dead.
Yeah.
The most interesting thing about that scene that I saw was all the heroes that are in this universe canonically now that we've seen that scene.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, get back into the casting of it, that kind of goes into that canonically as well. This voice cast is kind of star-studded. I heard Viola Davis. I'm he brought back Viola Davis, so that's one thing that's amazing. David Harbour being in this was another name that I was like, oh my god.
I love that David Harbour is Frankenstein, because you can tell this show has a lot of inspiration from Mike Mignola and Hellboy with all the angles and everything. So to have a Hellboy in the cast, it's fun. It makes sense.
You think they'll bring him to live action?
It would be funny if they did, but with the characters they're using, I doubt it. There's only so many things you can do with the Creature Commandos in a live action, style. We also have Alan Tudyk, who is a staple of James Gunn stuff, who is in both the live action Doom Patrol and he's Dr. Phosphorus. Yep. You got
Sean Gunn.
Yep, he's G.I. Robot and Weasel.
Yep.
I love G.I. Robot. I can already tell he's going to be a fan favorite for me.
So G.I. Robot, that's the thing I actually love Creature Commandos. I love all the weird DC properties. Creature Commandos, Metal Men, Doom Patrol. So when I saw it, I got really excited. And I'm like, Dr. Phosphorus was never a member of the Creature Commandos. G.I. Robot was his own thing. But they work for this. They make sense. I like that he added in characters that are not traditionally in the crew.
So I like Indira too. She's from the Game of Thrones and a few other things that.
Oh yeah.
She's really dope as the bride.
Mm-hmm.
Bride of Frankenstein.
So
that's really solid.
That's another. She may be my favorite character. I'm not gonna lie. And it's kind of apparent that they're kind of giving. I don't know if Gunn's kind of pushing her as the main leader of the team. But
he is.
Yeah, it's very apparent that she's getting a lot of attention very early on in the show. And
we might end up seeing her and David Harbour together in something. You know what I mean? Maybe a flashback or just something to bring them.
So traditionally, Frankenstein is the leader of the Creature Commandos. So I would believe if he joins up with them and he's in the show for the rest of it, with the bride being the pseudo leader and then Rick Flag Sr. being the main leader.
Right.
Gotcha.
The main thing with
this
show...
I also love that they're fighting a god of Themyscira. They're fighting an Amazonian.
That's so random. Part of me is kind of loving her now after reading Absolute Wonder Woman and seeing how dope Cersei was in that. And I'm like, man, they're going to kill Cersei off real quick. I'm like, they're going to kill her off at some point in this season. It's going to be kind of bad for me. I'm going to be kind of sad. Because if I know anything from Gunn stuff, especially with something like that, the Suicide Squad, anybody dying is up for grabs. Anybody dying is up for grabs. Maybe with the main team, maybe not as much, because I feel like he's going to plan to keep a lot of these characters around for a little bit. But everybody else is up to die. I'm just like, yeah, Cersei make it.
No, man. Cersei's a really powerful character for Wonder Woman. I don't think he'd kill her off that quickly. Not here.
If he's going to, he has plans to do bigger threats for her. Bringing in more of the Pantheon, bringing in like Ares and, actual gods for her to contend with.
Shit,
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, let's say it. Cheetah is not Wonder Woman's greatest adversary. No one cares about Cheetah. No one has cared about Cheetah.
I think he knows that. She could definitely be like a side villain cameo type of deal. Someone kind of, I don't know, manipulating her. But she's not main villain worthy for a movie.
Now, I will say, I don't love the Sons of Themyscira all that much. I understand what they're supposed to represent and everything. Right. It just feels underutilized at this point.
So to use that, let's use that to kind of get into the actual show itself and kind of a minor plot synopsis here. But for anybody wondering, so essentially the show's opening up to Cersei and her Sons of Themyscira, which essentially is is a compilation of like incel men that have guns that are worshiping Cersei. And they are looking to attack and take over the city of, what is it, Palashevsky? I don't remember the name of the country.
Yeah, it's like indiscriminate country in the Middle East with oil.
Yeah, I figured it was the same country from Young Justice that they had visited.
It probably is.
So we're gonna see how that goes soon. But wait, what's up, Solicits? Thanks for coming in, my girl. Thanks for coming in. But they essentially are invading that territory for whatever indiscriminate reason. And America is seeking to protect that country because of oil, is what it seems like. So that being said, it is thought to send the Creature Commandos as the personal guard for the princess of this country. And that's how we get the Creature Commandos and why they're in that country. It just is very convenient that she's literally like 30 minutes away from where Victor Frankenstein's old lab was. I'm like, just a cab ride away from where she was born. This is hilarious to me, but
right.
To get into it off rip, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of scared initially because of how heavy-handed the Sons of Themyscira were initially. I was like, okay, this is a little heavy-handed. I'm not sure how I feel about this yet. But as soon as we get introduced to the princess and her guard, I was immediately bought in. The whole little, it's a joke you kind of saw coming as soon as it happened. But with the guards, like, oh yeah, you bowed, so now we have to kill you. That was hilarious to me. The humor for the show is very
American in our jokes. Why aren't you laughing? What's up?
Yeah, that was great.
So
I was honestly surprised we didn't get like a my wife at all. We never got a my wife.
So how did you guys feel about early on in regards to some of the early plot points? Like, do you feel like this should have opened up somewhere else, or do you feel like this is a valid way to open up the series?
If I could go first, I would love that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I have thoughts. So,
Go right ahead.
When it opened with, you're going to indiscriminate Middle Eastern, Eastern European nation. Here's big castles. Here's, Eastern European villages and everything. Here's an army that is fueled by a lot of things that are very easy to hate, but we can't call them Nazis. I'm like, oh, this is just a Hellboy episode. This is just something Hellboy related. We've got the Gill Girl. We've got our muscle in, Frankenstein. We've got the Bride. I'm like, and of course, James Gunn is a huge Hellboy fan. Mike Mignola famously helped develop Blade 2. He helped with Guillermo del Toro stuff, and he helped with the scripts for the new Hellboy stuff. So it makes sense that he would take that inspiration from Hellboy and give us this very gothic, this very, very angled, very well shaded. It's not like a Bruce Timm animated series where you look at these characters and you go, oh, they can go in Superman or Justice League Unlimited. Creature Commandos have to stay in Creature Commandos because they have such a dynamic style. And this is the perfect location to show off that dynamic style. I loved everything. I watched the first episode and I was like, okay, there's a second episode, but where's the rest of it though? I need it in my blood yesterday because, choreography, the background scenes with the Bride, we do not talk about animated camera angles enough. It was fantastically choreographed, fantastically staged. for something that did not need to be that complex. And again, the gruesomeness of those scenes is very reminiscent of Hellboy. It's not, it's not derivative of Hellboy. It's still very much its own story. It's still very much a continuation of the Suicide Squad ideas, but it is gorgeous. I could look at this show for hours.
Yeah, I love the art style for this.
I'm not even mad that Rick Flag Sr.'s there. I'm not. They justified these people being the Creature Commandos in no time flat. They set them up with personalities. G.I. Robot is the best character, bar none. I wish I was killing Nazis right now. Okay, fantastic.
That's gonna be a funny gag.
Like, bro, you could do that every single time, and it will shine through. Like Dr. Phosphorus, he was a villain. People don't really remember Dr. Phosphorus. He's fantastic. Like, the Bride is great. I love her design in this. I love Frankenstein's design. He's very what's the Hulk that can talk? Is it Mr. Big?
Joe Fixit?
Joe Fixit, thank you. He's very Joe Fixit in appearance. He's not a total moron. He just really loves the Bride. And in the comics, he didn't kill Professor Frankenstein like that. He just, they were together, they had a kid, and then the kid got put in the zoo, and that was a whole thing. I like that they reworked the backstories to make them a little bit more related. I like that everything is so involved in each other. It's just, it's just good. All of it was good.
To get to the point of Elite X1, he had a point there. Let's not forget Gunn also tapped into a bit of the discussion around the original Frankenstein story and some of the morality and ethics in that, and how Frankenstein was actually not a great creature, but a bit of an incel in this. And I think that's something I enjoyed a little bit.
To the book's credit, if I was brought back to life by a married man and forced to walk in alone, I get it. I get where a monster would come from in that rationale. Yeah. And, that whole book is a whole experience.
It's pretty simple as well. One thing I'm enjoying about it, too, is pretty easy to see where the growth is going to be for some of these characters. Because you're shown their flaws like very early on in a lot of the things that are kind of wrong with them, I guess, for lack of a better term. And you can pretty much predict what the arc's going to be. Now, if we get thrown for a loop, that's one thing, but the growth is there. And one quick thing I wanted to let you guys know, I don't know if you guys have looked at IMDb, but I was interested in looking at some of the cast. They have a credit for like 7 episodes for Clayface in this series. And he's supposed to appear in episode 3.
Probably played by Alan Tudyk.
Yes, he's supposed to appear in episode 3. So we have Clayface is more than likely either going to be a alarming threat for the rest of the series, or he's going to be a part of the Creature Commandos going forward. One of the two.
I will tell you exactly what's going to happen with Clayface. He is going to join the Creature Commandos as their hidden member. He's going to be added into the intro, and I'll tell you why. Clayface is James Gunn's favorite Batman villain, and I can't be mad because he's also my favorite Batman villain. He will put him in anything. He will make him the star of anything. And James Gunn and Alan Tudyk are very famously friends. In Harley Quinn, guess who Alan Tudyk plays? Clayface. In the anime, the Suicide Squad Isekai, James Gunn had one request. Do you know what it was?
Putting Clayface?
Putting Clayface in there. And you know who was in it?
Alan Tudyk.
Dad, no, unfortunately not. No, I think it was like Liam O'Brien, but it was Clayface. Clayface was there. So if Clayface can be in something, he's going to be in something. And I do not see any world where Clayface would be a villain to the Creature Commandos. He is not that big of a threat. Especially compared to like Cersei.
Right.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing is like seeing what this existential threat is going to be for the show. Because we know Cersei is like a proxy of someone else as a bigger threat. We don't know what that bigger threat is yet. I don't see that threat being something crazy big because I don't know how this team deals with something that big. But
they could deal with something sizable though.
Because I'm trying to think like it wouldn't. I don't think it'd be like any crazy society per se. I don't think maybe a god maybe potentially if Cersei's involved. Maybe one of the Greek pantheon, possibly. I don't know.
Possibly.
But I don't know how. Or maybe grounded. Yeah,
I would really like a cult ran by Maxwell Lord, or not Maxwell Lord. I'm sorry, Vandal Savage.
that I'd
We
be okay
haven't
with
gotten
that.
him yet.
I'd be cool with Vandal
You
Savage
know,
because
he's seen the Bride, he's seen Frankenstein because he's been around for them. He's setting up something. He wants to use the Sons of Themyscira to get access to Themyscira and a godly artifact to do whatever, and they have to actually team up to beat him. Like, if
We
you're
have
gonna
two
do that,
actors on the actors list who aren't named for their roles yet.
Who are they?
And Raul Bahanja.
Raul Vahanja
yeah.
sounds like a Vandal Savage character.
And they're both only in one episode though, so it may be you may see them at the last episode more than like. Well, no. So Bane is going to be in episode 3, and then Bahenya is in episode 6. And is this
now? I will admit I kind of hate knowing that this is coming. Like knowing that Clayface is going to be in the show now.
Yeah, that's my bad for spoiling that. But because I saw that, I was like, Clayface in 7 episodes? What the hell? Because I wanted to go look at the cast. And I'm like, all right, let me go to IMDb to real quick and just look at the credits and see who's been in what for how long and et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know, this show, because obviously this show's even more interesting now that we know that it's going to be connected to the greater Gods and Monsters universe. So I'm like, cool. Yes. Anything we see in this show, we can really hyperfixate on and get an idea for what this world's going to look like. Because in a world where Superman has been around for a while and we get all these different people from the Guardians to Hawkgirl to Mr. Terrific and all these characters being around for a certain amount of time, this world's been kind of bubbling for a while. So I'm kind of interested to see what it looks like in the grand scheme of things, or if we'll see any allusions to a Batman or a Superman in this series.
I mean, obviously with Clayface, I think we'll get mention of Batman at least, or, things going on in Gotham. I kind of wonder which Clayface it'll be.
Mention of Batman.
Not necessarily. She's still dealing with a lot of other things. Batman is not on her radar right now.
Maybe not.
But like to your point, even when they go to this, decrepit Eastern European nation, the army is in power armor. They are in very complex vehicles. So like this is a world where they are preparing to fight God-class threats. They're preparing to fight a threat that could fight Superman. So I think that is a very important touch. Like they're not just traditional rebel fighters. They've got lasers on their wrists and everything.
And per Elite X1, he's saying that Cersei in herself is pretty strong and it could be a problem for them. And I agree, but it's kind of hard for me to see that now. Unless it's a power boost, because I just watched The Bride alone, like kind of put her through the ringer and damn near borderline kill her, like in the second episode. So if the team at any point is ganging up on her, I mean, you can obviously write it to where she keeps them separated, but if she can't handle the Bride by herself, I gotta see what that looks like and then how they maneuver that. Maybe she's a fake out, or maybe again if she gets a power boost, cool. Because we did see her like reality warping abilities being pretty significant in that final fight there, but I don't know.
We also need to just appreciate that the Bride is strong. Like she can put down Frankenstein regularly. She has. Yes, they're both immortal.
Yeah.
And they can put themselves back together. Now, granted, I don't really know what Fish Girl is bringing to the fight against Cersei. And sure, Dr. Phosphorus could shoot like radiation at her, but it's going to be Bride, Frankenstein, and G.I. Robot doing most of the damage. And even that is stuff Cersei could realistically handle.
She's still going to have the Sons of Themyscira too as
we need another an actual representative of the Sons of Themyscira. We need a villain that's like a part of those ranks that really brings them together. Because these little neckbeards just are not doing it for me. I need something a little bit more substantial. Give me the Executioner to her, Enchantress.
Sean, move your face a little bit to the right.
Oh, to the right?
Yeah, there you go, right there. But no, I agree with you though, Aiden, in regards to seeing more of them. Again, I just got to. They need a bigger threat. They need a bigger threat because I feel like I've seen the Creature Commandos do more damage to themselves than any of the villains they fought up until this point, being the Sons of Themyscira and Cersei. Which is again a dope thing. I'm excited to see a lot more of this team bonding. That's probably like the thing I love the most whenever I see a show like this or a project like this where you have a team, because the biggest and most important thing to me is the team dynamic and how they relate to one another. rather that be maybe you have somebody that doesn't like somebody else or an outcast on the team, whatever it may be. And I'm loving the little moments we get of them bonding. I love seeing the Abe Sapien character bonding with GI Robot. I love seeing, well, she's bonding with GI Robot and with the Bride. So I think she's going to be
a great foil for them.
She could be the surprise leader of the team. I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure what her abilities are yet. If they are literally, it'd be hilarious to me if they were literally like Abe Sapiens, where she was more like an empath.
So based off of there's Gil men that were members of the Creature Commandos in the past, and they're just Abe Sapien.